Did Africans colonize each other before the Europeans arrived? Many people argue that colonization didn't come into Africa when Europe came. They say it started a long time ago when great empires in Africa controlled other kingdoms. But there is more to the truth.
This is Africa!
To answer this properly, we first need to understand what colonization really means. According to Cambridge Dictionary, colonization is the act or process of sending people to live and govern another country. These four things must take place before an act is considered a colonization. 1. A group must take control of another land. 2. People from the ruling group must settle permanently in the new land. 3. The local population must lose political control. 4. The land and resources of the other land must be used only for the benefits of the ruling group. And European colonization in Africa did all these four things. For example, during the scramble for Africa, European powers like Britain, France, and Portugal took political control, sent settlers, removed local rulers, and controlled resources and land. And that is true colonization. Now, did the people in Africa actually practice colonization? Let's break it down. You see, before Europe came to Africa, Africa already had many powerful empires. Examples include the Oyo Empire, the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, the Ethiopian Empire, and so on. These empires conquered lands and controlled other groups, but they ruled differently. Most of the time, they allowed local rulers to stay in power. They collected tribal taxes. They expected military loyalty and only interfered when there was a rebellion. This system is called imperial rule or tributary system, not colonization. For example, the Oyo Empire. The Oyo Empire controlled many surrounding kingdoms. The kingdom of Dahomey, for example, they had to pay tribute to the Oyo Empire, but Dahomey still had its own king, its own army, and its own culture. Oyo mainly demanded taxes, loyalty, and access to trade routes. This is why historians usually call Oyo an empire, not a colonial state. But yes, some African empires did do something closer to colonization, and one example is the Sokoto Caliphate. In the 1800s, they spread across large parts of northern Nigeria and nearby regions. In some areas, local rulers were replaced, new administrators were installed, and Islamic law was enforced. But even here, there are still fewer settlers and less direct control than the European colonial systems. The biggest difference between the African empires and the European colonialism was the settler control. European colonialism often involved Europeans moving permanently into the land, Africans losing ownership of their land, and foreign governments ruling directly. So if one asks, did Africa ever colonize one another? The correct answer is this. African empires did conquer and dominate other African groups, but they usually did not colonize them in the same way Europeans later colonized Africa. They created empires, not colonial settler states. And if you want to know more about Africa, then subscribe to my channel right now. Ogadi, tomorrow.